It's definitely going to be pressure on for Immunity. I mean, I think even just to get into double-digit rounds would be almost a victory in the case, based on that first performance. That was their close map yesterday.
Yeah, even if NiP starts as terrorists, I think they're gonna close this game out pretty fast. I saw Immunity play Mirage today, I think, versus Liquid, and you can see that they're not really up to the meta game here in Europe. We saw they go for the Titan smokes, where you smoke off the site, something that has gone kind of out of style because people like know how to adapt to it. So I think if Immunity tries to go for that versus NiP, NiP will just destroy that push.
Yeah, you just get the one player up close, you get one in the sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. What you want to do is you can just throw a snacks flash through the smokes and just try to go out and kill them.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, if you do throw those smokes, you are investing pretty much 3 onto the site, which means you've only got 2 left. They have to be perfect to cover off jungle on the top of the stairwell, because you're still going to get caught by those if you come over from A main.
Yeah, exactly. And NiP has played versus European teams doing that exact round so many times, so they just, as Karn said earlier, just going to feel so comfortable in that situation.
Well, we will start it off, and we are going to see the Swedish dualies out for Get Right.
Oh, and I'm surprised that he didn't buy an armor and someone dropped it to him. He's just going for a smoke.
Yeah, Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because everyone else bought armor, but they didn't upgrade the pistol. It could have been done. Friberg has your only kit. Close smoke on Cat allows NiP to get up close. Snipers drop down as a result, and Friberg's waiting on B. They aren't coming in toward him, and they're already past him, in fact, because he can't get those first shots. Still tries to fire away, does get damage down. The aim punch is very real. USTILO comes around from Catwalk, and they are going to catch Forest. By the way, they are playing that newer setup, that newer style with Forest, or pardon me, on Catwalk, as Imagine picks up a double. A good pistol round strategy right now, but Allu gets in behind. He's only going to pick up 1. James counters him down immediately. Yeah, Immunity get the start.
The crucial part there was Friberg not getting a single kill on B. We saw him struggling there, trying to get the headshot through the window. Even getting a few bullets off where they jumped out, but sometimes it's just really hard to connect those shots when you're up versus jumping Glocks.
So now we'll see how they respond with the economic lead. We've got 2 AKs out, in fact, James with 1. SnypeR's going to have your scout, and then it's 2 MP7s for USTILO and Imagine. An MP9 for Get Right, and he's already in the underpass, so he may try and catch up on someone who's inside the B apartment. SnypeR's going to find Forest, so that's your scout with the shot. Rickeh is going to try and come into connector. Look at Xizt position, though. 5-7 up close. Get Right has gone all the way around. He's actually in behind USTILO, and he may get a chance here. Yeah, already spots him. He just has to stay patient, get up close, and that's exactly what he does. Headshot. He'll swap it over. Pick up the gun as well, but look at this from Xizt. He just waits patiently, and like you were about to say, how do you not check that corner? That's such a common spot. So he takes it perfectly. James and Imagine come in, though. They do get 2 back inside A, so they bring it back to a 1-man advantage, but Xizt has this AK-47 dropped. Already on the deck. So it's just up to Friberg. Does spot your bomb planner. Oh, he's got to be so careful. And the King of Banana holds on to the Banana 5-7, comes around the corner, gets an up-close shot. Gonna get countered out. Yeah, a little bit too cheeky. Tries to get that scout.
And nice round there from Immunity. It's actually kind of hard, even if you win the pistol round as T on Mirage. The second round is maybe not as hard, but it's almost like only 60-40% to the T's. It's actually really tough to play versus those 5-7s. And you can have a scout in middle, you can have a scout jumping the B tunnels. It's very nice that Immunity won the pistol and the second round there.
Imagine aggressively out with the AK, knows they're going to be full save on NiP's side. Have brought up the 5-7 onto Friberg. Got nades into the window room just to make sure nobody's there. There isn't. They'll check it anyway. In fact, they get one inside ladder room from Catwalk. As Imagine now slowly works in toward the connector, but look at the positionings from NiP. They've actually given up the A site entirely. They're going to play it from the backside, from the T positions. Get Right's on Tetris. There's an immediate pick from him. Doesn't check deep enough into the corner, and they had no idea he would be that close. Unfortunately, the AK fell far away from him, so he could not pick it up, as Imagine's going to go ahead and get him in response, and there's the end of the round. So it's 3-0 now Immunity, but this time NiP will bring out the rifles.
Great start from Immunity, winning the pistol, winning that second round, and only losing 1 player there on the full eco for NiP. Even though I say that, they don't have a lot of money actually.
Yeah, I mean, they did go pretty heavy. We saw an MP9 first or second round for Get Right, and then double 5-7s for Friberg. Rickeh is going to catch Friberg as I speak his name, and then Xizt does get back into USTILO, but they know there's still one more up close, and there's a perfect peek from lower. Excellently timed from James to catch them off, and he's going to make it a double. Allu has nowhere to go, so well played from immunity to get a player in behind them. Now it's just Forest and Get Right. And they're well split up. One towards CT side on A, and Forest rotating back through Kitchen.
And that's a complete opposite NiP we saw from playing Fnatic. Versus Fnatic, they played extremely passive back on the site. Now they tried to go for those duels in middle, but Immunity with some good smokes actually to won those duels in middle, trading one player for 3.
And they're playing for exits. 30 seconds left. Oh, pardon me, 50. I don't quite see it on our monitor. It cuts it off. But it's 50 seconds left, so they'll head into A. Get Right's already in position behind the vents to watch for exits. Actually comes through and catches Rickeh, but I don't imagine he'll go all the way. They haven't crossed over yet, though, so if we can get one more, then they do have a chance to play for this. Forest has rotated around, and there it is. So SnypeR goes. Now they can actually hold on to this, and Get Right lines them all up. He's got a third. James does get back into him, and now it's a one-on-one. Forest on the backside of the smoke. He's going to hold this plant. Forest runs through. He's very low on HP. So unless Forest can catch him off guard, he's got this, and that's exactly the case. Forest walks out.
And that should not be able to happen. You're on a 4 versus 2. The Xizt was like not even on the site. Yeah, Immunity is just choking that round. However, it was a 1v1 now, so Immunity actually has a golden opportunity to screw up NiP's economy here. So that losing that round might actually work in their favor. But they have to force buy this round. They really have to.
Importantly, though, Forest did go hunting for the AWP and got it. Initially, Get Right was on the back side of the vents. It looked like they were just submitted to the A site. They'd given it up. Forest went all the way over to B. And then when he peeked through, they hadn't crossed over. P90 out for Xizt. Like you said, NiP was still quite broke as they lost everyone that was up.
And if NiP loses this round, they're actually in a lot of trouble.
AD does do good damage to Rickeh. But Friberg's blind. I think they may have spotted him going into the corner, or did they? No, they weren't on the inside of the smoke, so he gets there for free, but it was Harry doing so. James this time out, no one to be found, so he can't find the double pick. Get Right's the one inside window. Forest. Oh, this is going to be so painful for USTILO. It walks out. Actually does reasonable damage in return, but still goes down. And with Get Right holding the off angle, there will be no one else to push up catwalk. He'll have already called that.
And Immunity is trying to go for the same strat they did last round, just taking control of mid through underpass and just trying to go through that connector.
I mean, it's a reasonable play. We saw yesterday Liquid never really took full control of that, but it does at least entertain one player, a connector that has to stay busy, and James goes further than that. He walks all the way up. Xizt and Get Right caught, and allu smoked off. Forest, meanwhile, does catch James on the backside of the vent. That pulls it back to 3-on-3.
Let's see if allu can get the plant. If the plant go down, this should have been an easy round for Immunity, actually.
Friberg, there was no smoke on connector, but couldn't find the first shot. Now he does. Up the ladder with allu already finding SnypeR. There's only one left, but he can't connect the shot on Imagine. He's still up, gets caught. And it's Forest again to close out the round. Yeah, allu. Where was the aim, sir?
Yeah, exactly. You can see allu's really frustrated. He missed like 2 completely open shots there versus towards connector and the stairway there, but yeah, NiP with 3 surviving players might be able to stabilize now.
Well, it's a big buy into this, though. As Forest is down to 0. Does have a smoke and a flash to go with the armor and the op. allu's already in window. Late smoke out over the top, as we saw, so he still has a chance here. It does cover off everything, though. There will be no gap. And that nade a little too deep. Only 6 damage dealt to Imagine. The rest get past it, but look at Xizt holding on. Pistols get up close. They'll do no damage. Finally, James drops him, and allu up close gets one. Well played, as James does go down. He gets to Get Right in Friberg to close the rest. Actually, allu stole that one out from the barrel of his gun, but no less, they bring it back to 3s.
And I kind of feel like Immunity missed their opening into this game there when they lost that last round, because now NiP, well, that anti-eco with 4 players surviving, NiP is going to stabilize. I wouldn't be surprised if NiP will go in out of this half with double digits.
Smoke over, bounce, does it make it? Yes. Perfectly placed. allu goes for the peek from connector, though. He's not even in the window. He will slide back into that position. Passive play from catwalk this time as well, so that means James is already around the corner. Forest not able to connect that shot. Actually does do reasonable damage, but not the kill. Xizt finds James, so he won't get all the way into the window room. That would have completely cut off NiP's rotation.
And Immunity is looking scattered right now, playing 2 people defensive up in mid. Really no point in standing there since you're not gaining any ground. You really need to push forward on cat or down in middle so you can... The cities must at least think you're able to be in like vent room or boosting CPL.
And there's only one smoke up right now for immunity, and it's in the B apartment, which means SnypeR in middle right now, or pardon me, Rickeh in middle right now is in a very tight spot. Oh, he did have a smoke. Okay, that wasn't showing on my overlay, but he puts it out. That lets him get away at least, because he was pretty much naked with 3 players facing him. Friberg does take down SnypeR, and Forrest gets Imagine, so now it is just left to Rickeh.
Yeah, he should just try to go for picks here. I don't think he should save his AK. Just try to get 1 or 2 frags before he dies.
He must have picked up that smoke off the dead body beside him, because when I initially looked, he didn't have one. No matter. Flawless round from NiP, and now they're into the lead.
Yeah, even more money now in the NiP bank. This is going to be really tough for immunity to break. You can see Forrest there just looking so confident.
He should grow that beard out until they win an event. We should make that a thing.
Yeah.
Not allowed to cut the beard until you win.
Was it?
He's going to have to tie it so he doesn't trip
Flusha
over it.
did that? I know it was some player at least.
Flusha might have done that, yeah.
But then he shouldn't have any beard. They like won everything.
Well, there was a time when that wasn't the case. So smokes over top. This will give Friberg the indication they are going to push onto him, and it is a Tech 9 rush. First already caught by Force. Now he pops out. Look how blind they were. Great flash placed. They still take down Friberg no matter. Swapping over is Forrest onto that 5-7, making a double for him, and allu through the smoke finds USTILO, who is just desperately trying to put the bomb in place for the money.
And every round, NiP just winning in such convincing fashion right now.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the economy was close. Now look at it. 5 digits before the buy for most players.
Yeah, I don't know what immunity can do. Maybe they should just try to go for one of their executes, but because, like, when they're going in through the middle, they're just trying to get control of that connector. They're just going down to the ops of NiP.
Forrest, look how aggressive he gets with the op. Imagine makes him pay for it. So Palace is open.
Yeah, that might have been
James is getting good position. Look at that. Gets in completely for free up connector and catches off Get Right. And USTILO's going to go ahead and take down Friberg. They've got A completely open. And no hold from NiP in mid that time.
Yeah, and that... Immunity really should win this round.
Bomb has been planted.
And I think NiP is just getting too confident. Like, force push there in AFs, it doesn't really make any sense. Like, if you're so much stronger than the players individually, you don't really need to push. You can just wait and we'll let them come to you.
I think that's impatience, just the fact that they want to get this over with.
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. Just Forrest having a good spawn and just like going with the flow. It's like, oh, I have good spawn towards A, I'm just gonna go into A apps. Just, like, he could take that initial peek into A apps, but he didn't really need to like go in like around the pillars there in Palace.
Immunity to close out in the last kill, invested a Molotov in it just to make sure they were gonna get Xizt, so.
They wanted that round badly.
Yeah, spare nothing. Just get the numbers up on the scoreboard. So 1 more for immunity. That answers back, resets the money bonus, which was up to 5 rounds, and it's only 1 the difference. And already they've lost James. Xizt is going to be the one to find him. allu forced out of mid. No smoke to do it, but lots of fire in his direction. There was a smoke actually in the corner, as we can see, so he only had 1 angle to fire at. Look at USTILO around the corner. Allu does finally put him down, but Forrest has already found his way 6 feet under. Oh my goodness.
My God.
Who's going to turn first? Double flash out.
Are you kidding me?
Xizt goes down. I may have heard him drop. I don't think he did, but they're past each other completely. Now that both teams are going to say, okay, this is clear, but it's actually not. So who actually is going to hold the angle? Who's going to have the better advantage right now? And Imagine gets allu as a result. Now he's got to be careful. Get Right's going to fire away with the auto sniper. He goes down to SnypeR as he overexposes himself, but this pulls Xizt back, and he realizes, what the hell just happened? How did I leave that open?
Yeah, and he probably thought Xizt came from underpass over there or something. I don't think he passed him during connector.
So this gives them the bomb plant. A little bit of luck goes the way for immunity. And SnypeR goes 1 further. He actually swaps over to Get Right's auto sniper. Friberg does bring it back to a 1-on-1, and SnypeR's in the open. He's got to get caught right now, trying to cross over, manages to get there. Does Friberg realize it, though? That's the question. He is peeking. He knows he's there, and he gets the kill with the M4.
Yeah, and SnypeR just getting into that really bad position at the Tetris boxes. You can't really escape anywhere, and you get in a like really awkward aim situation as well, especially with the auto sniper. So yeah, kind of bad positioning there for him, but there was basically nowhere he could go.
And here you go, Get Right. Have your gun back. They recover it for him. So Friberg, there he is, closes out the round. That brings us back to 6-4. But a bit of hilarity to unfold that round. It almost went the way of immunity because of Xizt passing through that smoke. And Get Right plays passively with that auto sniper.
Yeah, double op plus the auto sniper. This is going to be tough for immunity. And I think immunity is going for the Titan strat now, which I talked about earlier. And as I said earlier, I think NiP is going to be ready for this.
And both
They're waiting a long time before throwing smokes. Don't really know why.
Both of your M4s are split up as well. We see Xizt on the stairs. The second one's in kitchen. That's Friberg. He's got to rotate quickly. Xizt already spotted. Good play with the op there. Get Right, though. Up and over. We've seen him do it before from that position. Forrest finds two. Eventually dropped by James. And around the corner comes Allu. So that's two scoped weapons up close. Get Right. Does he go for the knife? I'm sorry. You're not Cadian. As James gets him as a result over top of the box. Allu does get the nade back into him. And this brings it back to a 2-on-1. And USTILO in shadow manages to catch Allu. Good play from him. And he flashes himself out. Can he get a double? No! Friberg just barely holds on to the recoil.
And I just want to say, this is the third one we won Immunity losing this half. This could have been a completely different half if Immunity were able to close this round. And yeah, NiP just know how to handle that Titan push on A.
That almost came back, though. I thought Friberg was done for when that pop flash went out. But he holds true, has trust in his aim and angle. But yeah, like you say, Immunity are making these rounds at least interesting.
And Immunity is going for a simple Tech 9 by air. They just want to keep... Why? That makes no sense.
Why? Why? You're just walking into the bullets. Get Right fired half the clip. And then they walk into the last couple. There was damage done, but no one down, and instead they just walk into that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And another thing that's weird is Immunity decided to buy Tech 9s. I don't... They should understand that they're not able to break NiP's bank now. So just going for that full Glock eco would have been a much better decision. Just banking up yourself and try to get, like... get to an even ground with the weaponry.
Man, oh man. A little bit of impatience that time. Like you say, the Tech 9s did nothing for them, so it's essentially wasted money. One smoke out to delay your A main push, and that's where they are setting up this time.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing again, I think.
Different setup from NiP, though. No one towards CT, so Get Right slid over with a more aggressive angle to hold on to the stairwell. Finally, now they'll go back to the default. They're actually going to pull Friberg up into position, or pardon me, Allu up into position with Xizt. Here they come over the top. Get Right spots one. Two shots already down. Make it another, and is he going to get more? He's gotten an ace here before. Eventually, he gets dropped down by SnypeR, so not to be this time, and that brings us back to 3-on-3. Allu now takes the long way around the backside of the vents and gives himself an angle onto Palace as Forrest wants to come up through the smoke, and there it is. Allu finds SnypeR. Watch to your right, Forrest. Imagine still there. So bomb yet to get placed, and now it's down to only Rickeh left, and they know he's in Palace. They've already fired or pre-fired onto him, and the bomb's a long way away, drop down below him with both holding that angle. Yeah, AK to hold on to.
Yeah, he knows he has to rotate back because Allu can just hold that angle from the ticket area. They don't see the spawn. I mean, once again, Immunity doing that Titan push, and it actually looked promising when they traded 2 for 2. But they're just too passive there at the Tetris box. They just waited too long. The smoke towards CT spawn actually disappeared, and Allu could kill the planter.
He's out. He actually got by them right now. So he fell off it. They second-guessed the angle and somehow pushes past the fire unsighted. Nonetheless, they'll get him. So 9 now for NiP.
And it's actually one of the points you made earlier with the Titan push, that you have to use all 5 smokes. It also means you have to plant before the smokes disappears. Because he waited too long at the Tetris box at the smoke towards CT spawn, just disappeared, and Allu just went up, saw a guy sitting there planting the bomb, and after that, the round was basically over.
It's Forrest's turn to hold the window this time. He'll do it with the op. Smoke on the bottom of underpass, and there's your first shot. Allu trying to find a second one from the connector on the second angle. Oh, James! Cheeky shot through the smoke. Just goes ahead and fires. Does massive damage to Friberg, who then decides to bail away from it and put himself back down in the bomb site. Forrest will come over to help him out. And another, look at that, Friberg caught again. So early damage, secondary shot to get the kill. And James isn't done just yet. He does finally get put down by Forrest 5-7, but they're going to take this invitation to rotate through. And imagine pours out from the window. The Tech 9 this time will make no mistake. Allu again, not able to connect the shot, so bomb will go down. And they've picked up 2 guns. They picked up the AK for SnypeR, and emagine actually picks up the AWP from allu. Xizt back into one, allu back into the other, and now it's all left to Rickeh. He's the one without the rifle.
Yeah, it should be an easy round for NiP, but once again I'm into getting the bomb down.
Rickeh knows they're on it. He might be able to pick up one, no, slightly too tight of an angle, and it doesn't matter. Get Right's there to hold it.
It would have been interesting to see the scoreboard and just see how many rounds Immunity actually been able to plant the bomb. I think we can see that any second. Yeah, there we go. We can actually see just 5 diffuses, so 5 bomb plants, and NiP has been basically been able to win all of them. So Immunity getting up on the sides, making kind of even trades with NiP, which is actually surprising, but never able to close out the round.
Look at the aggression as well, this time from Friberg. We haven't seen him head into the underpass before. He will now. This will catch Rickeh off if they don't rotate back just by chance. He actually runs up, though, so they may have heard him there, but no, they're already too far forward. They're already out toward the drop zone. That pulls allu back as Forrest has dropped. Friberg cuts them off, though. Imagine trying to join his teammates, gets picked, but watch out, SnypeR. No, he gives up the angle. He actually was in a position to hold it. Instead, he gets impatient, goes back to support his teammate. Had a free kill walking his way, and Friberg picks up the double as a result, make it a triple. Bomb down. USTILO and SnypeR a long way away from the site, so NiP in another great position here is Get Right. No smoke to hold him off. We'll just wait for one to pass by. Missing the shot, though. USTILO gets the better with the AK. Flash over. allu makes no mistake this time. Same effect for Friberg. So 11-4, not quite the 12-3 we had last match. A little bit better from Immunity. But Ninjas in Pyjamas are in a great spot to wrap this up in 2.
Yeah, especially considering Immunity won the pistol round. Immunity had 3-0 lead, and NiP getting 11 rounds. Just look at Immunity right now. They don't look that happy. They know they're probably out of the tournament in the next coming 15 minutes.
And not to discredit, they did take down Liquid.
Yeah, and they had a pretty decent match versus NiP yesterday.
The first time by,
yeah.
exactly. And it's good to see that there's 2 teams in the Oceanic region. Obviously, Keed Stars made it to the top 8 at the last major, but they're the only one from Brazil right
exactly.
now. It's really nice to see in the Oceanic region that there is another team, Vox, Eminor, as well as these guys, that can mix it in to some extent with the other continents. It only bodes well for the scene back home. Flash is going to go out, pistol round underway. James backside. This is very passive setup, and although they're all blinded up, NiP will not slow down. They come through. James does manage to pick off Friberg over top. Good smokes to hold off the backside of jungle, but Xizt already manages to find one. Bomb is going down. USTILO pushes forward, and he can't get into position to get the bomb planter, but he does catch Xizt. So it gives them the one-man advantage. Get Right will bring that right back, and Forrest puts it into the favor of NiP. It's all Imagine and SnypeR. SnypeR fires away. He can't land the shot with that USP. Same could be said for Imagine right now, who somehow dances away, though. River Dance to get away from the bullets, and now he closes him eventually.
Yeah, that was basically the nail in the coffin. Immunity losing that pistol round, going down to 12-4. Will they go for the eco and try to go FAMAS next round, or will they go for the force by now? It's just like a lose-lose situation. Neither of those options is something you want to do. It looks like they're prompting for that full eco and going for the FAMAS next round.
Yeah, good nade out as well. No armor. Look at that, down to 27. That landed pretty much on his backside. And they'll finish it off with a second one. So Rickeh drops, Get Right finds SnypeR. Get Right inside the smoke, similar situation. They're going to pass each other. Imagine heard him, though, because you saw him turn back just to check that. So he'll know one is in that direction. We'll see if he can at least get exits and find some weaponry to work with. But Forrest has already spotted up the 2 on the flank. Finds the first, finds the second. Get Right finds your third. That's Imagine.
Yeah, Immunity going for the FAMAS this round, probably. They can't go for 14-4. Yeah, they're going for the FAMAS.
Well, so far they're going for one from us. Where's
what
the rest of the buy? Okay, Rickeh has joined in. Okay, they are going to do it now. A little bit late decision, but they do go for it. In fact, Rickeh went straight for the M4, no armor.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were actually arguing about that. Like, one guy bought it, and they're like, maybe the in-game list like, no, we're supposed to go for the full double eco.
Why not swap in that case? One guy has armor, you bought an M4, throw it over, keep the FAMAS for you, and give armor to the M4 carrier. Anyway, not what they do. Imagine does come out, makes a trade onto NiP. Forrest down, as was James just before that. Bomb is also in position, but retake looks okay. Get Right's a long way away from the site, so this relies on allu to hold them out, not get close to the inside, and allow Get Right to get in position from A main, and allu's doing the job so far. Drops down. And with the support from Friberg, they've collected 2. Rickeh is the second of which to drop. And Friberg comes around, they'll close it off 14-4.
Yeah, and Immunity with no money now. I think they have like 2,500. So, yeah, they have to force buy, which means they're probably going to buy SMGs, maybe a 5-7. And if NiP just get one more round, they ensure that they will have at least a tie, so Immunity need like the most epic comeback ever to get back into this.
Fire, smokes. Okay, fire and smoke. So that cancels one out. That was a bit of a misplay from NiP, but it won't matter. They're in full control. Look at the shotgun out on Rickeh. Still a nice shot with the 5-7. Does catch Xizt coming out from the underpass, but Get Right was waiting on the catwalk angle. Forrest is going to find Imagine. Click, click, boom. Chin checking with that shotgun. Swaps to the AK. Sniper fire. I don't even think they're going to go for this.
No, they're just going to try to save and go for the tie, which means they have to win 11 rounds in a row versus NiP. Not the easiest task. And NiP, they're just looking like they're taking it seriously, sure, but they're not like using their proper strats. They're just going kind of like just for the individual play right now.
And Friberg's on the hunt, as we can see. He won't find anyone, though. They are in good position. Although... Okay, no, SnypeR doesn't push out the backside B. It looked like they may have had a confrontation toward the horseshoe. Excuse me. As now we are on match point. Series point and tournament point for the Australians. I like their jerseys, by the way. Classy. It's almost like the rugby, the down under.
Yeah, they look decent. And yeah, 11 rounds in a row. Do you think they can do it?
No, I'm going to be honest. I don't think they can, but they can play for some pride and at least pick up what they can from this. Rickeh, decent play, dodges the flash. Good read, but unfortunately Get Right came around a little bit too soon, and Forrest now finds Imagine. It's only 2 left. Just before we get out of this as well, I also want to point out Immunity are a great bunch of guys, I have to say. I've really enjoyed hanging around with them this weekend, getting to meet them, and they're not done just yet. They won't go without at least a little bit of a fight. They'll bring this back to a reasonably even situation. Make it 2-on-1 now. Forrest and Allu. Only USTILO up and left. Has full nades. Has a kit. Already has 3. Can't get the 4th. Allu closes it out, and there it is. That's going to do it. So, NiP move on. Immunity, hats off to them. They'll bow out here.
Yeah, I mean, they did a decent performance at least, beating Liquid, as we said earlier, plus getting that 14 rounds on Dust 2 versus NiP yesterday, but I mean, right now I don't think they're happy with this performance at all. NiP just rolled over them pretty easily.
Yeah, definitely. They looked a lot more composed today. I think yesterday they were a little bit scrambled. Kind of didn't really play to their strengths, and obviously we saw on Dust today they just basically countered out everything Immunity wanted to do. We kind of talked about that a little bit. So much more stable, and of course they had a hefty warm-up against Fnatic in the prior matchup. So back-to-back series for them. They'll get a break until tomorrow. And I think Thorn and Karen, you guys, what do you guys think overall of the series?
First of all, that whole thing.
I can't hear you, so I can't imagine your mic is hot. Ah, there it is.
Oh, there we go. That's obviously my fault, guys. I run production. So anyway, what I wanted to say first of all was I loved Sadikists like pandering to the crowd. They're like, first of all, I'd like to tell you, these Immunity guys, great bunch of guys. Spend a lot of time with them.
Are you going to call me out every time I'm a nice guy?
First
I'm
and
Canadian.
foremost,
I'm Canadian.
First and foremost, like, does that mean that everyone who you don't say that about is actually not a good group of guys?
Yeah, that's exactly what it means.
Oh, okay. And then secondly, how are they nice group of guys? Like, you spent like 2 minutes around them. What? So in that 2 minutes,
2 days around
in that 2 minutes, they didn't kick your dog, tell you Hitler was right, and then like sell someone into slavery. Like, what were they supposed to do in the 2 minutes they were drinking a Coke with you? Like, hello, mate.
Is your shovel
They
a little
follow him
dull?
on Twitter,
Is your shovel
maybe.
a little dull? I think you're digging a little deep now.
yeah.
It might be a little hard at that
Yeah.
surface.
It's a shallow grave for you, mate.
It is a shallow
So
grave.
anyway, speaking of shallow graves, that NiP just dumpstered them into one. I actually
Great
love
transition.
I love that type of game there. That's my kind of Counter-Strike. And what I mean by that is when you're like a really world-class team and you're playing a team that's not supposed to be world-class, you're not supposed to be like, oh, you know, we've got to respect these guys. We've got to like take them really seriously and like try all the proper... Yeah, that's like the way people want it to be. But you don't have enough mental energy. What you're supposed to do when you're, you know, you're the boss, when you're a lord, when you're a king, is you're supposed to get those little peasants and you're supposed to bash their skulls in for getting out of line and thinking they can come
Shoot
against
the
you,
corpses.
the lord. Yeah, exactly. And then after you've done that, you shovel them off to one side and you send in the next one. That's what it's all about, you know. you know.
Yeah, let's see who's going to be the next one. But we start out, all of us predicting 2-0. That happened. Mirage was, I don't know, at one point. I think score-wise, it was the same.
I think inside Sadix wanted to predict 2-1 because, like, the power of friendship. They're really nice guys, you know.
You got some
wishing
insight.
on a star, believing in each other. You know, don't stop believing.
But anyway, they...
that's rock. Now you've actually hit rock bottom, so throw away the shovel.
That's your head. It's so stubborn.
Pretty dense. Yeah, it is, actually.
You can't get in there. I'm trying to get in there, but I'm trying to dig in and shove in my rod of unbridled analytical power.
Out of context this time for okay.
But it can't get in there.
All right,
too big.
comedy club over. 2-0. They got a pretty good start on Mirage, obviously. I think they won the Piston and the 2 following anti-ecos, but then just the NiP machinery started kicking in. Friberg did a great game, but overall, we were sitting here before expecting 2-0. That's what happened, and I guess Immunity, they will, as far as I know, and you know them even better than I do, apparently. They're gonna stick around in Europe for a week's time or so and attend DreamHack France. So let's see if the practice they can have here in European soil can help them. But it was a completely different caliber of teams we were looking at.
Yeah. This is kind of just jumping off the point. But that's another good thing about this whole. We had the debate about the new league and how many tournaments there are. I mean, they flew 30 hours. The fact that they don't just turn around and go back home, there's still other tournaments, that there's that much going on, is really good for them. So just want to throw that in.
And this gives them a chance to, listen, anyone, like now, someone could say, oh, well, I guess that one map against NiP was kind of a fluke, and okay, maybe Liquid played badly. They could downplay, like, well, if they go to DreamHack Tours, and okay, now they're a bit more acclimatized to Europe, and they even get a map off someone lesser, or they show a good performance there. Now the average is looking a bit better. Now it's like you've got a little bit of a body of work to show. So I think it's better that they have more than just like 3 series to show themselves.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the thing is, that's kind of unfair to the NA team and the Oceanic team that's here right now. It's that they're only playing the like absolute top tier 1 teams of Europe. They don't have the chance to play like the top tier 2, tier 3 teams. And like I wouldn't be surprised if they can beat those teams. But like by the looks of it now, they're just a bit too far from the tier 1 teams.
Well, we were having the conversation before. We were talking when we were watching one of the games and saying, like, okay, if you're playing like a NiP or Fnatic, either you're going to get trashed like this, or you're going to have like a miraculous upset. So really, what I'd like to see in terms of like seeing where these teams really stack up is I'd like to see a team like Immunity or Liquid even against like Property, something like that, or Dignitas or Flipside. This is the kind of range of teams where they might be able to beat them, but at the moment, we usually rank them above them, so that'd be more interesting to see who actually would shake out of like a little tournament with them.
Alternatively, best of 1 format could also play in their favor.
Oh, we saw that at MLG. Everyone went 1-1 on day 1, but in the end, it was the teams that everyone predicted to move forward.
Sure.
So, okay, going forward from this, obviously, we're going to now go into the other games, and it's going into Group B now, but just looking towards tomorrow, because NiP now they're going to play whoever wins the other group. And so that can either be TSM, Virtus.pro, Na'Vi. So what I want to do now, what we've got you here is, which of those 3 do you think would be the best matchup for NiP? Who do you think, Patrik? Should it be Na'Vi, TSM, Virtus.pro? Who do you think they would?
It could only actually be TSM or VP, because they're in the
that's true, yeah. It's only the winner of this. So TSM or VP, pick between those 2.
VP, because I think if TSM would face NiP again and they get a good start, they might just start to remember how great they felt and how much flow they had against NiP just the other weekend over in Bucharest. Whereas we were saying Virtus.pro, right? They played each other so many times before, it's kind of a coin toss, I guess, but purely like short-term memory-wise, I'd say NiP would prefer Virtus.pro.
Okay, I'll come to you guys in a second. We're going to have a quick interview with GetRight, who's obviously won the game.
Hello, GetRight. First of all, congratulations, but I'd like to go, first of all, straight before this match. Coming out of the Fnatic loss, what was the atmosphere like in the team?
If we're gonna be completely honest, we were kind of split in emotion since we felt like we couldn't really play our A game against them, so we felt really disappointed regarding that. But at the same time, it's also been like very good lesson for us in general. Like at both maps, we just had to play better, if you ask us, and be on the same page like we were, but we didn't really hit our shots, if you ask us.
In what way is the mindset different in the team going into a match like this compared to the Fnatic game?
Well, we shaked off all the feelings we had against Fnatic and just focused that we had to secure the spot for the playoffs. We didn't really have any thoughts regarding it since we're going to be second in the group. It doesn't really matter who we play, we just want to play. And I don't know, we're just looking forward to tomorrow.
And what would you say? There's been a lot of discussion on the panel and around the LAN about the difference between the EU teams and non-EU teams, namely North American and Australian. What advice, after playing these teams this weekend so far, what advice would you give to them that they can change about their gameplay to really compete at the same level?
Well, first of all, it's really hard for them since they don't really have that practice that we have in Europe, since we all the time are practice against each other, the top teams and so on. So I think that's a really major issue they are having, since they cannot attend as many tournaments as we are, and also the practice when you're having the practice with your team. So if they actually can figure that out and actually maybe move to Europe or something like that, I think they will pretty much be better directly. But in general, I don't really have any more than that, since I think I answered that question on my AMA recently, and I basically said that, for example, the NEC needs to be more dividing up the roles and don't really be divas, if you can say it like that, and just slope all those shit and just prepare for having a good team and just put up good roles, and people have to just be satisfied with that, what the task they were given, and work as a team, because in my opinion, when I look at those teams they're playing, at least in the top level of NA scene, for example, I don't really see that those things that's so standard in Europe, for example. So I think they need to remove all those divas things.
Let's talk about Natu for a moment. How different has it been having him standing behind you more recently as an addition to the team?
Well, we haven't had him since, like, what is it, less than 2 weeks or something. We had him before DreamHack Bucharest, but it was too short and he was going to cost, so we didn't really use him on the spot there, so he didn't really help us there at all. And we think it was fair and square since we didn't announce the news then. But having him in overall, I think he helped us in the small areas, like, because we have small problems in our team, and it's more like working together as a team, how to execute strats correctly and so on. So, well, it's gonna be our father basically, and we have to listen to whatever he says. And I think that's a good addition to us, because we've been slacking for a while now, and we have to always think that we are before, except Allu has been playing together for such a long time, so that we cannot really come up with new ideas that easily, because we know each other in and out, and we prefer different kind of styles and things. So he can just be giving us new cool things and work on that and so on. But we have to think about it in the long period. And at this moment, it's going great, but I prefer to have him for a longer time before we went here. But that's how it is.
Cool. And finally, convincing win there. But what do you feel like you guys need to change? Anything in particular to really compete against the top 5 teams now at this event going forward?
I don't know, to be honest. Just step up our game, I think. That's about it.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for chatting to us.
I mean, I think if you look at Get Right's demeanour there, that kind of shows the difference between the two teams there, because for Immunity, that was the game of their lives. For Get Right, that was a Saturday. So anyway, back to the question I asked before. So I want to get you two guys' opinion. VP or TSM? Like, who would you like to see facing up against NiP? Who would they have a good chance against, do you think, out of the two?
I think TSM is favored in that matchup, but for some reason I think VP and NiP would be a better game.
Just in terms of
you think TSM is in favor versus NiP?
Versus
yes.
VP. Oh, you think against NiP? I thought you meant against VP.
Yeah, I actually think they're favored versus both. But it's like it's so even between those teams.
I can see that Threat's actually in love with TSM's style of play. He keeps talking about, oh, they play the right way, you know, they've got everything.
It's kind of MCW
sort of like
style, I feel. Yeah.
No, that's probably why he's in. All Swedish 1.6 leaders sort of have like a little insecurity thing like this, and they had really great teams, great tactics, great players, but then MTW had like the perfect tactics.
They had a great mix. I agree on that.
Everyone was always a bit jealous of that, you know.
I wouldn't make too many big conclusions from. Obviously, Bucharest was a really good event, great lineup, and it was a hard qualification going into it. But God knows if TSM is going to be
getting over the finish line
in the grand finals in the nearest future. Yeah. We do not know, and I would still argue that NiP is in favor versus both Virtus Pro and TSM. But that's from my perspective.
I would say getting over the finish line is likely still going to be an issue, but the way it wasn't even that they performed well at Bucharest; it was the way they did it. I actually kind of agree with Threat that their playstyle is interesting, that they use a lot of spawn points to their advantage. It's not they've got 3 people like an op. Usually it's Kerrigan, Cage, and B on the defensive side, Device on the offensive side. But if Device has the spawn, they'll just say, all right, here's the op, you go do that. I'll go to B this round, and they actually are really good at changing things up. It was quite impressive to watch. Again,
At the
gotta
same
be
time, I would
consistent.
say from the games I watch, because I was also following my guys and preparing for the match days and whatnot. I think some of the TSM players over in Bucharest had more or less their events of their lives.
Oh, yeah,
Actually,
for
like
sure.
Kerrigan was raking up more frags than but even back in the 1.6 days, so
And
which
they
is
only,
amazing.
They only had to play 3 series. So we talk about how they normally choke late. Well, they only had to play 3. Maybe that makes a difference. Maybe the more series, the more chance for it. To answer your question, to go back, Thorn, I think VP is the team that NiP would want to play. I think they've got a better chance against
So
them.
NiP, Patrik actually said there that essentially he put NiP as a favourite of everyone except Fnatic. Okay, I've got a question for you now. After seeing some of the NiP problems there, they got crushed by Fnatic. They had problems early on against Immunity. Does anyone here think NiP can win this tournament? What do you think, Threat? Can NiP win the whole tournament?
I don't think they're favored to win it, but I think they can win it. It's maybe like 20% chance, and that's actually kind of low.
Out of 4 teams, that's like 5% less than the average, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
You're the guy in university.
No,
yeah.
but he's not necessarily giving everyone equal chance, remember? He
True.
might have given Fnatic like 60%.
Yeah, but it's still
one
5%
day.
away from...
exactly.
yeah.
But okay, let's put it like this: it's lower than usual NiP standards. Like
Yeah.
It's not 2013, basically. But
Yeah, exactly.
And they're not having their forms, or the form of
Yeah.
their lives right now, but still, you know...
you would be surprised if they won, but they can still win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
literal context of the word can, yeah, sure they can. You never rule NiP out. You always have to take them seriously. But based on how they played against Fnatic, even when they had a lead on the second map, they didn't really hold on to it. They started getting sloppy. I don't think they're in great form this event. I think they were actually... I think the best series they played recently was against Envious at CCS. Unfortunately, they went out in the... They had a super long series. They went out in the upper bracket, and then they were just almost mentally exhausted. And
Speaking about the map pool as well, like, NiP has been extremely diverse throughout time on the maps they've been good at, but maybe recently that is not the case anymore. Maybe they are not... Because, okay, surely Nuke has been kind of the map for them, as we addressed earlier, but correct me if I'm wrong, but it's taken out of the map pool from the most tournament.
Yeah,
This is
well,
one of
still
the
in this-
last
it's still in this
tournaments
one,
where
yeah.
they're going to have Nuke.
Yeah.
But let's think about further then. Let's say next event, they're not going to be in France, but maybe at Gfinity,
Right.
not going to have Nuke
I'm
as
not
far
sure
as I
if
know.
they
I
are.
don't know, but let's say they're not. Then it might be tricky for them, because I know they're kind of like throwing... Well, maybe not throwing Cobblestone out of the window, but Overpass is a map they don't like to play that. I think they just removed it instantly against Immunity, for example. Maybe they're sitting on some aces in their sleeves, so that maybe they can play it. But as far as I know right now, they're not that consistent on Overpass, obviously, and Cobblestone, Nuke, they cannot play that much longer because it's not in the pool. Inferno, I guess, is a fairly strong map for NiP, but
I would say that...
it's for a lot of teams as well.
But a lot of teams ban out Nuke, so the only thing it does for me is it just weaken... It's not like there's suddenly... They don't play it much right now as it is, because most teams do ban it against them. VP, one of the only ones
Yeah, but
who
it
don't.
wins the opponent another ban.
Exactly, it
basically,
gives
yeah.
them another ban, which then weakens their depth on the other maps. And the same can be said for TSM, because they're also a Nuke team. So Train's going to be interesting.
I mean, an interesting way to phrase it is, if you ask people, I don't know if you could get 10 people who watch a lot of NiP games and they would agree on what NiP's best map is. They're actually quite a diverse. They can play like maybe 4 or 5 maps quite well, but they don't have that one go-to map. You know, you don't have that one where it's like you've got to stay off that map against them. People say Nuke now, but that's mainly because most of the teams don't play Nuke. It's not necessarily that NiP are the gods and they're too scared to play them, because, okay, TSM would play them on it, okay? It's not like they're so
Virtus
unbeatable.
probably would, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
some
no,
of these
they're not,
teams
yeah.
would maybe risk it, okay, but the problem they have is they don't have the one go-to, so yeah, I kind of agree in that sense. Anyway, we're going to go to a breakdown. We'll be back later with, I assume, TSM versus Virtus Pro.